Welcome to the summer edition of What's Up Pasadena. We're taking you on a journey of our eclectic city. On this episode, we introduce you to a preservationist with an impressive transportation collection. We show you how to embrace the summertime in Pasadena for free. And we meet an Altadena family that has turned their home into a sustainable oasis, complete with goats.
As my children were born, my husband and I, this was our hobby, but the children loved it, and as did their friends. And I think the most meaningful thing for me is it's a sustainable way of living, but it also makes for loving, close-knit families.
We moved to Altadena because, as you know, we are lucky not to have any zoning laws. But when we arrived here, we then started planning. So the first need was gardening, for which you need good soil, which was a big problem. So that led to kind of thinking about, okay, so how do we enrich the soil? We didn't want to artificially fertilize it. So I think the first animals that came to mind were chickens. So we went and got 8 chickens and got both eggs and manure for soil. Wasn't sufficient. We decided that we needed more nutrients because of all the food that we grow. So then we essentially got the goats, followed by the rabbits. Then we have some animals that are there just for fun. We've got a coral reef aquarium. We've got 2 fish ponds, one with turtles, one with fish. We have a beehive that we use to harvest honey and make mead and also enjoy the honey. So I'd say the home is just a place where we do things that we've always wanted to do, but we never thought we'd be able to do it all together.
I wanted to build a garden that was interesting, that would draw the viewer in. So if you look around my garden, you'll see it's different sections with different kinds of plants. And we worked very hard to attract native pollinators, the birds and the bees. And so each part of the garden is a different habitat. And so literally every year we have a project, a part of the yard that we reclaim. And that then becomes my most favorite part, because what was wilderness before is now this beautiful blooming space. And I just feel nature is so generous. She needs so little from us. She gives us so much. My husband and I come from third world countries. We grew up in big cities in Calcutta and in Karachi. He's from Pakistan. And homeless people were part of our city landscape. We didn't see it in the West until we came to LA, and it's growing, and it really bothers me that why in so much plenty there should be people living on the streets. And I always wanted to do something. In India, my mother used to cook a lot of food every day and feed maybe 50 people would come and eat breakfast at our house. I can't do that over here, so I thought, what could we do? So then my husband and I thought we'd plant a community garden. So if someone walking by can eat a piece of fruit, then that makes me feel happy.
We have 2 daughters. One is a junior in college and the other is just graduated from high school. I mean, they grew up with us in the environment that we live in. So all the way from spending a lot of time at home, spending a lot of time doing chores in the yard. We built the ponds together. We planned and built the goat pond together. So I think for them, so they kind of got interested in just, living the way we do. And as they grew older and now with the current generation is a lot more sensitive to footprint. But I think just spending time outside. It all comes down to finding excuses to be walking around the yard with animals following you. Now if the chickens were out and the goats were out, we'd be surrounded by them. But they're curious. They follow you, you enjoy it. And I always had an image actually of having animals, kind of living with animals and animals being comfortable with us, and that's how surprisingly, it's ended up that way. Goats are amazing animals. They are extremely observant, and they read your body, they read your intentions, just like dogs do. They're charming pets. I'd say even more interesting because a lot of people don't know how easy it is to have goats, so to live with goats.
I would say plant some herbs on your windowsill. Start with herbs. Start adding fresh herbs to your salad, to your soups, to your stews, and that's transformative. Start with herbs. And gardening is such an addiction, you'll never stop. You'll never stop till the day you die.
All of the excess that we grow or produce, we try to make good use of. So we ferment grapefruit wine. We have beehives. They produce honey. The neighbors get honey, but then there's still a lot left over. So we make mead out of it. We ferment it into mead. We make cheese, but we don't. Since we haven't bred our goats, we have to buy the milk from elsewhere. And then all the the vegetables that we grow.
20 years ago, I would have said to live sustainably was a choice, but now we have depleted the Earth's resources to a point. If we are to survive as a species, sustainability is for our own survival. It's not a hobby, it's not a fad, it's not an option. If we are to survive, I think we have to. But I also feel, there's a term biophilia that E.O. Wilson, a famous biologist, coined. And I know when I'm in my garden, it's the happiest time in my life. So I do it for your soul, if for nothing else.
The original Busch Gardens were opened in Pasadena in 1906 by Adolphus and Lily Budweiser. Some of the ruins can still be seen today.
Hello.
Hi, I'm from Blue Hood Stone Barns. We brought a meal for you and I'm here to serve it to you.
Okay, great. Come in.
Zucchini carbonara, made from zucchini that was harvested earlier this morning.
Again?
Hey, Dan Barber.
You have room for a little bit more?
Come on in.
Brochettes with sausage. So when we made that zucchini carbonara, they're the end pieces of the zucchini and they're the cores that we cut away. Not to mention zucchini flour. Usually those get thrown out. We use them to create an entire second dish. Does that,
Again?
I'm here to bring you your third course. It's the vines from your zucchini.
We'll have a little zucchini stem pasta. A different experience of zucchini. When we start to think differently about our food, we can get a lot more out of it.
This is delicious.
What do you think we can make out of this? 40% of food in America is never eaten. Cook it, store it, share it. Visit savethefood.com.
It's summertime and the living is easy in Pasadena. So we've got 10 ways for you to make the most of the season, and they're all free. Dancing under the stars at Paseo, Colorado. On Friday nights from June 22nd to August 17th, you can swing the night away under twinkling lights to various live bands at this popular event. Free lessons are offered at 7 p.m. Astrofest 2018. Astronomy enthusiasts will love this week-long festival with a number of family-friendly activities, robotic demonstrations, planetarium shows, stargazing, and much more. Events occur at various locations throughout the city, July 14th through 22nd. Exploring the Arroyo Seco, known as Pasadena's largest outdoor space. It includes a plethora of recreational activities, such as archery, horseback riding, hiking, bike riding, and golfing. Ice cream socials. Head on down to the Villa Park Community Center from 8 to 9 p.m. on Friday nights in July to mid-August for free ice cream and to meet fellow members of your community. Concerts in the park. As part of the City of Pasadena's Parks After Dark program, 3 free concerts are happening July through August. Whether you enjoy jazz, Latin, or 80s music, you're sure to get your feet moving. Free family night at Kids Space. On the first Tuesday of the month from 4 to 8 p.m., families can enjoy the amazing interactive Discovery Center for free. Kids Space has a number of indoor and outdoor play areas dedicated to art, science, and nature education for children. Norton Simon Museum. On the first Friday of each month from 5 to 8 p.m., you can enjoy free admission to this art institution to appreciate the works of Picasso, Van Gogh, and Monet, just to name a few. Old Pasadena Summer Cinema. This is the largest free open-air film festival in California with almost 20 film screenings. There are also 3 special themed events at Central Park with screenings of The Sting, Wreck-It Ralph, and Mamma Mia. Pasadena City College Flea Market. If you're a fan of antiques and old records, you can stroll around the PCC campus on the first Sunday of each month to peruse over 400 vendors. Admission is free, but who knows what treasures you may need to take home. The Chalk Festival. Hundreds of artists descend on Pasadena to turn the sidewalks at Paseo, Colorado into creative masterpieces on June 16th and 17th. Love beautiful cars? The Pasadena Police Department also hosts their annual Classic Car Show on Sunday in conjunction with the Chalk Festival. There you have it. That's 10 ways for you to soak up the sun in Pasadena without breaking the bank. Street numbers in Pasadena start at Colorado and Fair Oaks because the first general store and the post office were there.
first time I met Morris, the door flew open and I got this larger-than-life personality talking at the top of his lungs. So I thought, we're definitely gonna be friends.
Oh, Dapper Leon?
Oh, no.
He's the highlight of my week.
I've known Mikhail and Jerome 6 months. You don't find many young people that want to be fooling around with us old folks.
I don't feel like I'm volunteering when I'm with Leon.
They'll call, Miss Barbara, do you feel like having us hang out a little while? That's their word, hang out.
Just had a magnetic energy. Oh, I totally forgot. Hold on, let me get this for you.
I was kind of hoping that we'd get what we did out of it. It's even better than I imagined.
I said, you guys have no idea how I feel about you.
I'll come to the door with one meal and I'll walk away with a full heart.
Drop off a warm meal and get more than you expect. Volunteer at americaletsdolunch.org.
America!
America!
America, let's do lunch.
Planes, trains, and automobiles are the name of the game for an avid Pasadena collector who's working to preserve the history of transportation.
So in 2000, our nonprofit foundation, the Mount Low Preservation Society, began with collectibles and antiques and images of the Mount Low Railway, which existed in our local mountains from 1893 to 1936. When Henry Huntington purchased that line in 1902 and incorporated it into the Pacific Electric Railway, we grew exponentially and we inherited the archives of the Pacific Electric Railway Historical Foundation. From there, we've grown to the Southern Pacific, the Santa Fe, the Union Pacific, and now bus collections and antique automobiles, and it has just kind of blown exponentially. So we have over 500,000 images in our collection. We've got a 7,500 book library. We've got in excess of 20,000 three-dimensional smalls. So I'd say pretty much we have anything you can think of that pertains to local Southern California history. The ties to Pasadena in our collection are, of course, the Mount Low Railway from the San Gabriel Mountains, which are just directly north of Pasadena itself. The Pacific Electric Railway, which had 1,100 miles of track in 4 counties, Pasadena was a hub for that. So we've had many cars that have gone through the Pasadena area, Pacific Electric Railway, the Santa Fe Railway, of course, with the Pasadena train depot that has been reiterated into a restaurant at this point in time. Metro coming through now in modern times, kind of using some of the same right-of-ways that were used before. So it all kind of ties in together. Pasadena itself was kind of a front runner, kind of the San Francisco of the South, as you were. We wanted to legitimize what we were doing here in the 1880s, and it just kind of morphed. So we always had some of the first trains, some of the first automobiles, even had airports in our local area. So it was all about something that was really kind of local and romantic here. Being a collector, starting out at a very young age, growing up at the beach as I did, it started out with rocks and shells. As I got a budget, it became stamps and coins, and as I got a driver's license, it became about cars. But it was always about transportation. It was always about what could I fly in, what could I ride in, what could I drive, and that included trains, Goodyear blimp, antique aircraft, World War II vintage aircraft, anything. So it's always been anything that moves, all sorts of transportation. And when you collect things like that, one thing leads to another. It starts out as a model when you're a kid, and then if you're lucky enough and savvy enough, you get one of the real ones, and it just kind of morphs until it gets out of control, as it has done here. It's just because I loved looking at it. It just was pleasing to the eye. No, I'm not a big road trip guy. My wife hates to drive in cars and go anywhere. We didn't do that as a family growing up. I'm an only child. But it was just always something. It was the love of the advertising. It was the music that went with it. It was the styling that was influenced by anything that was going on of the day. Anything from World War II and fins on planes to fins on cars to the space race. It pretty much all kind of morphs together. And anything that's aesthetic, from Art Deco to Art Moderne, it could be anything. People ask me all the time, how do you find this stuff? Well, in the old days, we used to go to flea markets all the time. PCC was, of course, one of the great ones. My wife and I would get up and go to antique malls after the flea markets. And over time, you begin to be known as a certain individual that looks for certain types of things. The goal is to pay off the building, be able to make it ADA compliant, have everybody be able to come here and have special displays at certain times and have everybody enjoy it. But if that doesn't happen for the near term, we have the ability to digitize and list things on our websites, and not only books at Golden West Books, but also some of the things, the archive photos, Pacific Electric Railway Historical Foundation. We've got about 8,000 images of the Pacific Electric Railway. You can look at it from the comfort of your own home in your PJs if you want to. So getting the stuff seen and shared is key for the existence of this collection. So as a collector, I think the thing that I enjoy most is seeing people's reactions when they get to see it for the first time. I've been around this a long time, and I get excited when I see things that I've never seen before. And that's how I know that has to be part of this collection. I've never seen this. I get excited like a little kid at Christmas. So when I can bring that same surprise or serendipity to people who come and visit, whether it's at the Pasadena Museum of History, we loan things to Huntington Library as well. So there are a lot of things that we put out there. To see somebody smile, they go, oh my gosh, I've never seen this before. This is amazing. Where did you find it? Great conversation starter, and usually people are really sucked into what I'm doing. And at that point in time, we are building a broader base of people who will appreciate local history, who will embrace it, and then start looking for the history within their own families as well.
Here's your events calendar for the month of July. AmericaFest, July 4th at the Rose Bowl Stadium. Sierra Madre's 4th of July Parade on July 4th on Sierra Madre Boulevard. Music Under the Stars on July 7th at Pasadena City Hall. Tea ceremony demonstrations on July 8th at Storier Stern's Japanese Garden. Colorado Street Bridge Party on July 14th. Sri Lanka Day on July 14th at the Paseo. 2018 LA's largest mixer on July 26th at Pasadena Convention Center. That's your events calendar for the month of July.
Thanks for joining us on this summer episode. Be sure to follow us on social media and visit us at pasadenamedia.org. See you next time.